Okay. Okay.
Great. Okay, so I'm just going to run through the corporate presentation as though I was presenting to a customer to a large extent. I might have a couple of deviations that I wouldn't do with a customer, but just to give you an idea of how I present. So, as you see, Blue Cube, we talk about intelligent protection as our strapline, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about today and explain what we mean by that. So, Blue Cube, intelligent protection, as you see on all our literature, all our slides, we're basically focusing in on how we can help you to best protect yourself for your requirements. So Blue Cube is an independent IT security solutions provider. We focus on enterprise-wide IT security solutions, and what I mean by that is all aspects of security across the entire organisation. We're focused on helping you to protect your key corporate assets, whether that's the information that you hold, financial information, customer information, product information, the systems themselves, again your HR system, your finance system, your web presence, and your identity. And when we talk about identity, we're talking about twofold. We're talking about the users that you have within your environment. Are they who they say they are? Do they have the correct levels of access, etc.? But also, perhaps more importantly nowadays, in this online world, the identity of your business, your reputation, your brand, helping you to protect that from bad publicity. So we have a three-stage process that we use to help to identify how we can best help you to achieve the intelligent protection that we're talking about. Focusing on your information, your systems and identity that I mentioned previously, we look at what to protect, where to protect, how to protect, taking into account how your organisation is structured. So for example, if we focus on where to protect, most companies are trading outside of just one geography. It may be that you're only UK based, it may be you're European, it may be that you're global. Technology is converging, so you share voice, data and more on the same network now, rather than separate networks some years ago. And ultimately, the whole purpose of what you're trying to achieve with your information systems is to enable the individual to achieve their role in the best way possible. So how do you then make sure you protect that properly? So we go back to where to protect. Violations are widespread. So every day you open a newspaper, you see on the internet, you see on email, you will see that there's some story about a breach, an incident, an issue. It's becoming more and more common knowledge, more front page news rather than industry only news. Partly because if you rewind the clock sort of 20, 30 years where you had a mainframe locked in a secure room, it was very easy to secure. Nowadays, obviously, you have a plethora of different systems, some web-facing, some not web-facing, lots of different locations. So your boundary for where your information is entering and leaving your organisation is far more diminished. Obviously, these sort of things, they're holding information now, so that's effectively the edge of your network now. If you have a violation, what are the implications? Obviously, you've got all this information. There was a big drive over the last sort of 10 to 20 years to consolidate information so you can leverage the power of that information, which helps you to grow your business, drive your business. So if you have a breach, what does that mean? Do you just lose information? Is there a direct financial implication? Is there loss? Are there fines? Or does it actually impact your ability to do business? And obviously, does it affect your brand? And taking into account the fact that you have all these multiple penetration points, how do you achieve privacy regulations, compliance, and all these issues? You've got all these applications holding information, how do you ensure they're secure and that they comply with regulation? So basically, what I guess I'm trying to say is we're trying to understand your business, understand how you're structured, what your regulation requirements are, to enable us to recommend intelligent solutions that are best of breed, designed for your environment, not for company X down the road, whose requirements are totally different. We'll provide secure solutions, not just from a product perspective, but make sure you're trusting us with your information. We're going to ensure that we can be trusted with that. It's a secure relationship. And a managed solution, we're not just talking about managed services. What we're talking about is coming in and understanding right from the start what's driving your problem, what's your risk, what's your requirement, to enable us to recommend the best solution, help you to integrate that into your environment and your processes, and help you to support that moving forward in the real world in production. So, how do we deliver intelligent protection. Obviously, every organisation is different, but if you really sort of break it down, most organisations will have some form of corporate, branch, home, mobile user environment, particularly corporate, mobile and home, pretty common nowadays. May have branches as well. Obviously the mobile, home and branch users, they're remote users coming back to your core applications and systems. So how can we help you? So what we try to do is understand the structure of the organisation. If I drill in here, for example, into the corporate environment, we'll take a view on some of the key areas that you might need to consider. Data privacy, authentication, authorisation, and professional services that help us to underpin that. Ultimately, at the centre, without sound policies, processes and procedures, a lot of the technology you try and put in place is largely irrelevant. So obviously we can help you to review and improve policies, procedures. Some examples down there, but there's a whole range that we can talk to you about. I'm not going to go into a load of detail on each section. However, if I pull out mobile users, because it's a pertinent issue nowadays, the kind of issues that you might want to take account of are strong authentication to make sure that if someone loses that device, that the information on it is secure, and some way of controlling, access and authorization to that device and the information that can go to it and from it. So obviously I could go through this in more detail, but I'm not going to drill into all these points now, but I hope you get the flavour of what I'm trying to say there. So obviously we've talked about how we'll approach any particular sort of project or requirement, how we'll understand your organisation, but then in terms of actually delivering that, so we're an IT security solutions provider. We've been in the market for a number of years, in excess of 10 years, and in that time we've built up a large range of relationships with the leading providers in the industry. As you'll probably notice, quite a lot of these logos are out of date, some have acquired, merged, etc., etc. Hopefully you get the picture. It's a broad base of products and solutions that we can offer depending on the requirement. Ultimately, I guess what we're trying to achieve is we want to build a partnership with our customers, because if we can really sort of learn to understand your issues, your drivers, your requirements, then obviously we'll have a far stronger relationship moving forward. It has to start somewhere though. So walking into the building for the first time today, you don't know us as an organisation, why would you open your kimono and share all your security secrets? You're probably not going to do that. So this is where we start with perhaps a tactical relationship or a tactical alliance, where it's a short-term alliance on a specific project. You may have an existing requirement that we're going to try and help you with. And what we'll do is we'll try to leverage the investment you've already made in your infrastructure, because what's the point of us coming in and recommending a solution that doesn't work what you've already got or requires a forklift upgrade with what you've already got? It's going to cause you, loads of expense and loads of hassle. We want to make sure it's seamless, it integrates, it complements what you've already got. Because ultimately what we're trying to do is demonstrate our expertise, grow that relationship to enable us to build an ongoing relationship where we have a much more formal partnership or a much more structured partnership. And that's where we get to with our key long-term customers. We're a strategic partner for these guys. So they're long-term relationships. We understand their core business needs, where they're going, where they're growing, where they're trading, the pressures. And because we understand that, it enables us to recommend best-of-breed solutions, taking into account any compliance or standards that they need to comply with, and ultimately giving them a greater return on investment, because we understand their infrastructure, we understand how their processes work, so we can give a much better, a greater return on investment through our innovation and expertise. Obviously, it needs to be stable, as you would expect, and it needs to be scalable, so it grows as you grow. And I guess the last point on this is ultimately what's really important with these types of relationships is that you have the right levels of communications, whether it's the relationship down to the help desk guys, all the way up to the CEO with your senior management, so you've got that peer-to-peer communication as you need it. So summarising on the services, as I've kind of touched upon sort of generally, but talking about services, we can provide investigation services, so we can scope your environment, we can understand your risks, assess your risks and understand your requirements. To enable us then obviously to recommend a solution, leveraging our independence, as I mentioned before, about the range of partnerships we have in place, making sure that things are scalable, growing with you as you grow, and they're aligned to best practices and any compliance standards that you need to comply with. Obviously we need to demonstrate our credibility. There's some examples on the screen there, again, maybe slightly outdated. We're a BSR accredited organisation, ISO, I can't remember the exact number, but ISO accredited organisation. And we'll provide the right level of certification for your requirements, whether it's a PCI accreditation for a PCI requirement. If you're a government environment, you need class, check, credit, Tiger, there's a whole range of them. We'll make sure that we provide that credibility to you. Obviously, the way that we work as a business, we're a solutions provider, a reseller ultimately, so we don't own any of the products that we're providing to you. We provide the services ourselves, however, we need to bring in third parties into this relationship. What we'll do is make sure that anyone we bring in fits with our core values of trust and integrity, so that you can see that our partners and yourself are all safe, understanding, we're all sharing this information in a secure fashion. The circle of trust is complete, if you like. So, hopefully that gives you an understanding of who we are, what we do as a business, but just summarising, why would you want to work at Blue Cube? The biggest challenge that a lot of our customers see is out there in the market now, there's a massive, massive amount of products that get thrown at you day in, day out, our e-shops, product brochures, sales guys calling you, webinars, whatever it might be. And you're sat there at your desk trying to understand which of these products are useful to you, which are the best products for the requirements that you have. You don't have the time, the hours in the day to go through every single product. Our position, we've been in the market for over 10 years now, in the security market, specialising in this. We work with all of the main vendors. So we have a huge, huge range of knowledge around the products, the solutions in the marketplace, which enables us to sit there, soak up this information, going back a few slides, understand your requirements, so we can recommend the optimum solution for your problems, saving you time and effort. So summarising, obviously we talk a lot about intelligent protection. It's our catchphrase, buzz phrase, whatever you want to call it. But what we're basically saying, okay, so we want to provide intelligent solutions that are complete, best of breed, fit your requirement based on our understanding of your organisation. Secure solutions, the solutions themselves, but obviously the relationship, we gain your trust, we demonstrate integrity, we provide the education expertise to make the solution work. The managed solutions, so our team works with your teams to understand your core objectives, understand your growth requirements, and make sure that everything sort of integrates nice and neatly. Working with you for you, what do we mean by that? So basically what we're trying to do is build a partnership with you. Again, trust and integrity are key words. We work in the security industry, they're going to be. But we have to make sure our team is accessible, it's dedicated to you when you need them. We have to show our independence. We use our independence, our vendor neutrality, to make sure the solutions we recommend are best of breed, they're the best fit for your requirements. And we do that by leveraging the market intelligence that we've built up over a range of years. So that's my overview of who Blue Cube are and what we do. But there's a couple of independent validations, verifications, from our customers. A couple of quotes there for you to take a couple of seconds just to have a read what someone else is saying about us. So obviously we can provide references to relevant organisations in your own industry at the appropriate time through introduction. Obviously we're a security company, so we don't just go banding around too much information. So I'd like to thank you for listening. Obviously welcome any questions at this time. The floor is yours.
No questions, that was very good. Thank you.